So, there's been a lot of work on the car. Hoping to get it ready for the Dover reunion race. But sometimes things don't work out. So the car was together, the car was running. Just needed to finish all the small stuff. The headlights, headlight buckets. We chose yellow tint on the headlights for a more traditional, different style. It works perfect with the gangster theme of the car. It was time for some lettering, and a lot of people said, don't letter the car, it looks too good. But that's me, and that's the style. The car is a traditional car, traditional styled. And the only person I would bring in is Charlie, the one-armed bandit. His lettering and pinstripe is always on point, and he's very flexible with how I want to do things and the styles that I want to use. And he agreed the colors we chose would work. So we started with the doors. He came up with a font that I liked, and we agreed. So he uses different style methods. He pre-drew and printed the lettering, spaced it, puts it on the car with a chalk, and then hand draws it over, and the chalk leaves almost like a carbon copy for him to follow. Once we started on the doors, we continued with the black, which was the main color of the lettering. So Charlie freehands everything. And yes, he does have one arm. That is a prosthetic arm that he has. So he is left-handed with a prosthetic on his right. And it does not make a difference, his styles. and his ability is amazing. He is the Bandit. So I left Charlie alone in the front garage most of the day. He had the idea of what I wanted, and he made it the way he wanted and his style, and I was fine with that. But there was one time when I needed to watch, and I needed to be there, because there was an important piece that we put on the car that meant a lot to all of us. So another piece to the puzzle. BG. Everyone always asks, what is BG? So the car originally was styled as an old school gasser. B being the class for the G being the gasser class. It would be like a late 60s, early 70s gasser class. Usually it's a early 60s. That'd be more, I guess you could say early 60s to late 60s. B was a designation based on cubic inch of the engine to the weight of the vehicle. So we decided, because of the size of the motor and the weight of the car, it is a B gas, which would be BG. The next part of the puzzle was very important to a lot of us. I mentioned it earlier, and now it was starting. This is where I needed to watch, and I wanted to make sure that it was right. You'll understand. I'm not gonna lie, I think Charlie was kind of nervous, so he really took his time trying to make this one right. I totally understand. I was nervous. So forever with us, and forever with the car. The OG gangster, Ron Dayton Sr. So this was the first time when the car was fully assembled that I was take it for a ride. If you listen closely, you'll understand why we didn't make it to the track. Something wasn't right. So the car finally got back together. Showed you a little clip of Charlie lettering. It looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. We tried matching the colors best we could. Black with almost like a bronze or a brown shadow. It actually matches the wheels. Looks awesome. He did a great job. We nicknamed the car Capone because when you look at the car now, first thing that comes to mind is most people say it looks killer. And then I say it looks gangster. And what better gangster in 1939 or in the 1930s was better than Al Capone? So if anybody knows the history of Al Capone, so Al Capone in 1939 actually was in Alcatraz because he had gone to prison for tax evasion. It's the only thing they got him on. But unfortunately had a disease that spread to his brain. It was a bacterial infection. So they transferred him in 1939 from Alcatraz to a hospital type prison, which was his forever home until he passed. I believe he passed in 1947. So he lasted like 8 more years. But that's just one of those things, this era of vehicles, the 1930s, first gangster that comes to my mind is Al Capone. So fits. I don't know why. Especially with the style of zoomies. It almost looks like shotguns. It just looks, I don't know. Car looks gangster. It's the best way to put it. So we finally got it all back together. Even put door panels back in it that I had made years ago. They're just basic, nothing special, just to give it a covering. Did a very simple carpet on the front half. Put the tonneau cover back in. So it's we were having problems. So you'll see the video that I put up was the Friday before the Dover reunion. I tried to get the car and test drive it. I just been very busy with work, so test driving was not the easiest thing. So I took it for a ride. I knew right away that there was something wrong with the carburetors. The transition between primary and secondary, if you understand carburetors, it was a very bad lean stumble. So I was having a hard time even just revving the car, which was kind of weird because it felt pretty good when I first started the car months ago, but then it sat because we were doing all the body work and I couldn't fire it up since because all the body work we were doing, the last thing I want to do is create any fumes or anything in the garage when you're trying to keep things clean for paint. So we buttoned everything up. I took the Zoomy headers off. Everything got wrapped up. And there was no starting of the vehicle for almost 2.5 months. So finally, after getting the thing fully assembled, got it back together and went to go take it for a ride on that Friday. Was planning on loading it up, and it didn't really go the way I wanted it to. So had a crazy oil leak. Started smelling oil on the test drive. Didn't even know where it was coming from. We ended up putting stock valve covers back on the motor that day because the other valve covers that I had bought, which are aftermarket, for some reason do not seal on properly. So where it basically goes on the cylinder head, the seal was pushing out. And no matter what I did to move them around, because there is a little bit of movement in where they sit, it would just push the seal out. So then it would just leak oil everywhere. So that was the first thing. So I was like, no big deal. So I had these other stock valve covers. I put them on, cleaned off all the oil that had dripped down. Not a big deal. It was all fresh, so it wasn't a big deal. So then we started messing with the carburetors to try to figure out the stumble. And I realized that one of the problems was the accelerator pump transition from primary to secondary. It was taking too long for the secondary linkage to start opening, and then that was taking too long for the secondary accelerator pump to kick in. So that was one of the problems. So when we were working on it, we realized that the carbs had to come back off. So took the carburetors off, had to go get gaskets. It was a whole thing. Found gaskets because the gaskets that were on the carburetor that I had just recently put on were all gelled up and like mushy. I don't even know how to explain it, but they were Amazon gaskets. They look like Holley's, but they were definitely not a Holley brand gasket, and they deteriorated. So that was my fault. Then we had a problem where it wouldn't even start. It started clicking. So I figured out that the starter was done. Now that starter was probably 10 years old, but it had never failed me. And of course, it started failing that day. So it is what it is. So I had to run out to the parts store and put a starter on it. So after all of that, got the carburetors back together, got them back on. I thought I might have fixed the problem that I found the gaskets were deteriorated and it was all crap inside the bowls. And then on top of that, the linkage, I was able to rig the linkage to get it to open like almost like a 1-to-1 ratio from primary to secondary when you would open the throttle. So I thought for sure that I was onto something. Get it all back together. It's 6:30, almost 7 o'clock at night, Friday night. I was already supposed to be there, already supposed to be loaded up. And the stumble was still there. Fired it up and it is what it is. So at that point, I gave up. I packed it in. I just realized that weekend wasn't going to happen. So here we are, fast forward. I got it really close. I think I got to add a power valve to the secondaries because it has block offs currently, which is common when you have a tunnel ram or a blower setup because of low vacuum. But this motor actually makes good vacuum for a tunnel ram. So I could add a power valve, which would help with that transition stumble when the secondaries want to open. Right now I have a lot of jet in it and it likes it. And I have the accelerator pumps ramped up on the different setting for the ramp. There's an eccentric that you can change it's like 3 different settings. So it's more aggressive. Plus I have the 1-to-1 linkage on there now, which opens up the secondary almost immediately. So it really likes all that. So we drove it, me and Ronnie drove it, and it still has that little bit of a stumble in between. So I have to do something. So I think I'm going to pull the block offs and put in power valves, and then we'll test it after that. But I look at it this way: at least the car's together, at least the car's running. I can work out the bugs. So I'm really hoping to get to the track. There are a couple of more rentals for Fridays, which work better for me because of hockey, because hockey's been crazy. That's been taking up my every weekend. So I really don't want to miss that because I've agreed to coach the 2 teams that I coach, one of them being Ricky's, and I do not want to miss games. So that's something that, it's just how I am. Cars are important to me, but family and the hockey situation is much more important. So, but yeah, it's car's awesome. I mean, it's wild. You already saw that with the videos. So the first video was me first pulling out of the garage. I noticed right away there was an issue with a stumble, but I thought maybe when the car warmed up that it would clear, and it did not as I drove it. So that was, Al was over that day helping. Thanks to Al for helping me try to really get this thing squared away, but it just didn't happen. I was really hoping to go to the track. But everything works out in the long run. So, and sometimes you just got to be patient. But with that being said, stay tuned because we will have a track day with the car. That will be the next video. So I'm hoping to get to the track within the next couple weeks, and I'm hoping it will be a Friday. There is a couple Friday rentals that are coming up, and those work better for me. So I appreciate everybody. Stay tuned.